Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to have a master key to your emotional fortress? One comment from them, and suddenly you're drowning in rage, shame, or despair. You tell yourself you're overreacting, yet your body betrays you. Heart pounding, hands trembling, that familiar knot in your stomach tightening like a vice. Here's what will shock you. That person didn't actually do anything to you. Carl Jung, the revolutionary Swiss psychiatrist who decoded the mysteries of the human psyche, discovered something that will fundamentally change how you see emotional pain forever. He realized that every person who triggers you is actually a messenger from your own unconscious mind, delivering a package you've been avoiding for years. Think of your psyche as an iceberg. The tip, your conscious awareness, is tiny compared to the massive structure hidden beneath the water. In those dark depths lives what Jung called your shadow, every aspect of yourself you've rejected, denied, or buried alive. These aren't gone. They're waiting, watching, ready to explode when someone else dares to embody what you've disowned. The narcissist who enrages you, they're showing you your own hidden grandiosity. The victim who exhausts you, they're reflecting your own helplessness that you refuse to acknowledge. The critic who devastates you, they're speaking with the voice you've been using against yourself for decades. This connects to what dark psychologists call emotional contagion. But Jung showed us it's not contagion at all. It's recognition. Your soul recognizing its own reflection in another's behavior. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Jung warned us. Today, we end that unconscious slavery forever. Like this video if you're ready for freedom. Share it with someone trapped by their triggers. Subscribe for content that transforms lives. And watch every single second. Your liberation depends on understanding each piece of this puzzle. Your nervous system doesn't live in present time. It lives in a haunted house of past experiences, constantly mistaking today's people for yesterday's ghosts. Jung discovered that our emotional reactions aren't responses to current reality. They're reenactments of ancient dramas. When your boss gives feedback and you feel like a terrified child, you're not experiencing your boss. You're experiencing your fourth-grade teacher who humiliated you in front of the class. When your partner withdraws and you panic, you're not feeling their distance. You're reliving your mother's emotional unavailability. This phenomenon connects to what trauma specialists call implicit memory. But Jung understood it as the shadow's way of keeping old wounds alive. Your unconscious mind stores every painful experience as a template, then desperately searches for evidence that the past is repeating itself. Consider Maria, who becomes instantly defensive when anyone questions her work. Her reaction isn't about the current feedback. It's about her father's constant criticism that taught her questioning equals attack. Her nervous system can't tell the difference between constructive input and childhood trauma. Every workplace interaction becomes a battle with a ghost from 30 years ago. The person triggering you isn't your enemy. They're accidentally wearing the costume of someone who hurt you long ago. Your pain isn't about them. It's about the unfinished emotional business you're carrying, like invisible luggage, everywhere you go. Deep in your unconscious mind, you've signed contracts written in the blood of old wounds. These agreements dictate exactly how you'll react when someone touches your deepest fears. Jung understood that we unconsciously choose our triggers based on our earliest survival strategies. As children, we made split-second decisions about how to stay safe and loved. I'll be perfect so no one abandons me. I'll be invisible so no one hurts me. I'll control everything so I'm never vulnerable again. These childhood contracts become invisible puppet strings. When someone threatens your perfectionism, your abandonment wound activates like a smoke alarm. When someone challenges your control, your vulnerability terror takes over completely. This relates to the dark psychology principle of behavioral conditioning, but Jung revealed its self-imposed conditioning. You trained yourself to be triggered by anything that threatens your psychological survival strategy. Here's the shocking truth. You're not being triggered by their behavior. You're being triggered by the threat to your unconscious identity. The perfectionist isn't upset about the mistake. They're terrified of becoming the bad person they swore they'd never be again. Your triggers aren't random emotional chaos. They're precision-guided missiles aimed at your oldest survival programming. Every person who deeply disturbs you is holding up a mirror to show you the exact aspect of yourself you're most desperate to avoid seeing. Jung called this psychological projection, but it's far more profound than simply seeing our traits in others. It's our psyche's ingenious way of showing us what needs healing by making it impossible to ignore. The intensity of your reaction is directly proportional to how much energy you're using to deny that trait in yourself. The manipulator who disgusts you? Look closer at how you subtly control outcomes to feel safe. The attention seeker who annoys you? Examine your own hunger for validation that you've buried under false modesty. The angry person who triggers you? Find the rage you've been swallowing for years to maintain your nice persona. This connects to what cognitive psychologists call confirmation bias, but Jung understood it as the shadow's way of seeking integration. Your unconscious mind desperately wants to be whole, so it keeps presenting you with people who embody your disowned parts until you finally acknowledge them. Think of David, who was infuriated by his colleagues' laziness. Through honest self-examination, David realized he was exhausted from decades of compulsive overwork and secretly envied anyone who could rest without guilt. His colleague wasn't lazy. He was modeling the self-care David had never allowed himself. The person triggering you isn't your problem to fix. They're your teacher, showing you the unloved parts of yourself that are begging for acceptance. Jung was fascinated by medieval alchemy, the mystical practice of transforming base metals into gold. He realized our triggers are the raw material for the greatest transformation of all, turning psychological lead into spiritual gold. Every trigger carries a hidden gift. The person who abandons you teaches you self-reliance. The one who criticizes you shows you where you've abandoned yourself. The one who betrays you reveals where you've been betraying your own truth. But you only receive these gifts when you stop seeing triggers as attacks and start seeing them as invitations to wholeness. This process connects to what neuroscientists call post-traumatic growth, but Jung understood it as the natural evolution of consciousness. Your psyche doesn't want you to stay wounded. It wants you to integrate your wounds into wisdom. Consider the alchemical formula: solve et coagula, dissolve and reconstruct. First, you must dissolve your old identity as a victim of circumstances. Then, you reconstruct yourself as the conscious creator of your emotional experience. The trigger isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. It's your psyche's way of saying, "Here's your next assignment in becoming whole." When you approach triggers with curiosity instead of reactivity, you become an emotional alchemist, transforming every challenge into conscious evolution. This is where Jung's path leads you to become emotionally bulletproof, not hardened, but transformed. You develop what I call titanium consciousness, flexible enough to bend with life's winds, yet so strong that nothing can break your essential core. Picture yourself as a lighthouse standing on a cliff. Waves crash against you, storms rage around you, ships may even try to ram into your foundation, but you remain unmoved, steadily beaming your light into the darkness. That's psychological sovereignty, the ultimate destination of shadow work. When someone hurls their pain at you, you feel it like a gentle breeze rather than a hurricane. Their words pass through you without sticking because there's no Velcro of unhealed wounds for them to attach to. You've metabolized your darkness into light. This connects to what neuroscientists call emotional regulation mastery, but Jung understood it as spiritual alchemy. You've transmuted your lead-heavy triggers into golden wisdom. Meet Elena, who once shattered at the slightest rejection. Today, when someone dismisses her ideas, she feels a warm curiosity about their defensive patterns while remaining anchored in her own truth. She's not cold or detached. She's integrated. Every piece of herself has found its rightful place in her psychological kingdom. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the conscious architect of your inner world. Others' opinions become interesting weather reports, not life or death verdicts about your worth. This is Jung's promise fulfilled. You become sovereign over your own soul. The next time someone pushes your buttons, pause and whisper, "Thank you." They've just shown you exactly where your next breakthrough waits. They're not your enemy. They're your unwitting spiritual teacher, perfectly cast by your unconscious mind to deliver the lesson you're ready to learn. Jung's profound insight changes everything. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Your triggers aren't random tortures. They're precisely calibrated invitations to wholeness. When you master this understanding, you join the ranks of the truly free. No one can control your emotional state. No one can steal your peace. No one can trigger you because you've finally come home to yourself. The journey from triggered to unshakable isn't easy, but it's the most important work you'll ever do. Your freedom depends on it. If this resonates deep in your soul, smash that like button. Share this transformation with others. Drop your powerful affirmations in the comments and subscribe for more content that sets your spirit free.